Welcome to According to Sam, folks. This is episode 261. It's election day eve, and you can cut the tension with the knife. Everyone is on edge, a lot of anxiety, people doing everything they can in these last hours to get out the vote. People have already been voting. Millions of people have been voting. I voted 2 weeks ago, so it's not election day anymore, but there are a lot of people that are waiting and that are traditional about it and like to wait until election day. So there's going to be a lot of voting tomorrow. They'll finally start counting tomorrow. We'll see if we find out who's going to be the next leader of the free world tomorrow. But again, you can cut the tension with the knife. I posted on social media that it's comforting to be a believer in God. It's comforting to believe that there is an all-powerful God that is in control, and no matter what happens tomorrow and this week, that's not going to change. That God is still going to be in control. I mean, I want Trump to win. I want the country to go into a new direction. But if Trump doesn't win and Kamala Harris becomes the president of the United States, I'm fully prepared for that as well. I've been preparing for that for years. What do you think people have been buying food rations for and prepping and stocking up guns and ammo for? Yeah, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for what happened in the Roman Empire to eventually happen here. It's just how quickly it happens. And if you guys decide to put Kamala Harris in charge of the free world, not only in charge of the United States, the leader of the free world, then we're going to be headed there a lot faster than if Trump is elected. In my opinion, that's what I believe. I have a lot to share with you guys today. Today, I want to have a little fun. I mean, might as well have a little fun. We're still going to be talking about the Bush-Clinton dynasty a little bit. I want to talk about some of the things that Obama's been saying on the campaign trail. This guy. Look at this guy. Look at that. Not a lot of joy in those eyes, I tell you that. Not a lot of joy. This is him campaigning, and I think this one's in Michigan. And then I have some clips from Wisconsin here that we're going to listen to in a minute. But look at this guy's face. Where's the joy, Obama? And he's out campaigning, and he's putting in a lot of work. The good thing is that this guy doesn't have a good record getting other people elected. If you look at his endorsements and the people he has endorsed, he's got a lot of losses under his belt. I remember when they were debating the Brexit debate, having the Brexit debate over in England, and he went over there to campaign or stay in the EU, stay with the EU, and don't break away from the EU. They broke away. They said, screw you, Obama. You don't tell us what to do in our country. Brexit passed. He campaigned for Hillary Clinton in 2016. She didn't win. And there's others too. So he doesn't have a good record. And that's one good thing. And he's frustrated. You can see it on his face. And some of the things that he's saying as he's campaigning for Kamala Harris, I want you to listen to some of this stuff. This was him in Wisconsin just the other day.
Maybe you're Muslim American or Jewish American, and you are heartbroken and furious about the ongoing bloodshed in the Middle East and worried about the rise of anti-Semitism.
So do you notice this? Someone pointed this out to me. I didn't notice this at first, but when he says, maybe you're a Muslim American, and he brings his hands in, he draws his hands in, like, I mean, I think that's interesting. I don't think Obama's a Muslim, but I just thought that's interesting the way he draws his hands in. He says, maybe you're a Muslim American or a Jewish American is what he said.
Maybe you're Muslim American or Jewish American.
Maybe you're Muslim American or Jewish American.
Curious about the ongoing.
That's interesting. Maybe you're a Muslim American or Jewish American. I think that's interesting.
Maybe you're Muslim American or Jewish American, and you are heartbroken and furious about the ongoing bloodshed in the Middle East and worried about the rise of anti-Semitism. Why would you place your faith in somebody who instituted a so-called Muslim ban, who sat down for pleasantries with Holocaust deniers, who said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally?
So Obama tells 3 lies there, 3 lies in succession. I don't even know who this message is for. Are you talking to the Muslims? Or are you talking to the Jews? You know, first of all, he says, maybe you're Muslim, maybe you're Jewish, and you're upset about the violence in the Middle East that happened under Joe Biden. But honestly, a lot of the destabilization of the Middle East happened under you when Joe Biden was vice president. The only person to destabilize the Middle East more than you, Obama, is your cousin. Your cousin, George. He's the only one to destabilize the Middle East more, to kill more Muslims than you. And you killed a lot. You killed a lot of Muslims with your drone program, Obama. Killed a lot of Muslims. You killed an American Muslim, Obama. You killed an American Muslim, his teenage son, without due process, which the Bill of Rights guarantees an American citizen. It's funny. Trump's going to be a dictator. Trump's going to violate your right. This guy killed an American citizen, a Muslim cleric, without his Fourth Amendment due process rights. Just killed him and his teenage son. And when he was asked about it, he said about the teenage son, he should have had a better father. The teenage son was an American too, violated his rights as well, Obama, and destabilized the Middle East, armed ISIS in Syria through the Free Syrian Army. This guy, he was feeding arms to the Free Syrian Army so they could fight Assad. And then the Sunnis from Iraq went and joined the Free Syrian Army, had al-Nusra, al-Qaeda, and all these Sunnis that were fighting with the Free Syrian Army, who Obama gave them all those weapons. They became ISIS. They came back into Iraq and took over Mosul and northern Iraq. This guy, he supported it all. Gave them the weapons. Now he's talking about Trump. Maybe you're a Muslim American, like me. Maybe you're a Jewish American and you're concerned about the violence in the Middle East, is what he says. And this guy did a lot. This Peace Prize, Nobel Peace Prize winner, Barack Obama, did a lot of damage in the Middle East and in Asia. A lot with his drone program. A lot. Nobel Peace Prize winner. This guy did a lot. He says, maybe you're a Muslim. No, he says, maybe you're a Muslim. Or maybe you're Jewish and you're concerned with the violence in the Middle East. Why would you trust Trump, someone who did and he says the so-called Muslim ban. I like that he says so-called Muslim ban because there was no Muslim ban, but it was the so-called Muslim ban. That's what the media called it. That's what all you called it. There was no Muslim ban. That's why he says so-called. Let's listen.
Maybe you're Muslim American or Jewish American, and you are heartbroken and furious about the ongoing bloodshed in the Middle East and worried about the rise of anti-Semitism. Why would you place your faith in somebody who instituted a so-called Muslim ban.
So-called. It's a so-called Muslim ban. Why does he say so-called Muslim ban? Because there was no Muslim ban. There was 7 countries that had high rates of terrorism that they were banning people from coming in from those countries because they had a lot of terrorism and that we couldn't vet the people coming out of Syria, Iran. These are the 7 countries, Syria, Iran, Iraq. What were the other 4 countries? Like 4 African countries that had high, I don't even know all 7 countries that had high rates of terrorism. And Trump just banned people from coming from those countries because we couldn't vet them, not because they were Muslim countries, because they had high rates of terrorism. You know where that list of those 7 countries came from? From this guy. Those 7 countries that Donald Trump banned people from coming from those 7 countries because we couldn't vet people and we didn't want terrorists in our country. Those 7 countries were identified by the Obama administration. Obama put the list together of the so-called Muslim ban. But then he goes on to say that Trump uses the Charlottesville. Charlottesville is the last lie that he tells. What's the lie that he tells before Charlottesville?
Who sat down?
Oh, here it is. Who sat down with the Holocaust denier? What's he talking about here?
For pleasantries with Holocaust deniers.
Who sat down for pleasantries with Holocaust deniers. Deniers, plural. Listen to that again.
Who sat down for pleasantries with Holocaust deniers.
Holocaust deniers. That's a lie. Trump didn't sit down for pleasantries with Holocaust deniers. But he's talking about Nick Fuentes coming to Trump's club with Kanye West. Kanye West was having the episode and hanging out with Nick Fuentes and going to all these shows. Went to Alex Jones with the mask on. He was doing all these podcasts where he was talking about how great Hitler was and all this stuff that he was getting from Nick Fuentes. And then Kanye West on his private jet with Nick Fuentes in tow lands in Miami, calls Trump up from the airport and says, "Hey, I'm here in Miami." Trump's already having dinner there at his club. And he tells Kanye to come, not knowing that he had Nick Fuentes in tow. And Kanye and Nick Fuentes show up at the club. The Secret Service tell Donald Trump that Kanye's here. I don't even know that Donald Trump even knew who Nick Fuentes was. Nick Fuentes and Kanye West come and sit down at the table where Donald Trump is already eating dinner. This is the way Obama paints it again.
Who sat down for pleasantries with Holocaust deniers.
No, that's not what happened, Obama. That's not what happened. Why are you lying? He's lying because this guy's nervous, man. This guy's nervous about something. Look at his face. This guy's nervous about something. He's telling lots of lies. And this guy, he's got a forked tongue. He tells a lot of lies. This guy is one of the most prolific liars in all of American politics. This guy right here. He's good at it. He's good at it. But it's not having the same type of effect that it used to have. We're 16 years into this thing, Obama. A lot of us has picked up on this, but you can see he's getting frustrated. He's getting frustrated. Please believe me. And then he goes into the Charlottesville lie. I mean, this is just such a desperate attempt. Anybody who's coherent at all knows that the Charlottesville lie is a lie by now. Everyone's called out this fine people lie. Everyone. And people that are still using the fine people lie, they do nothing but discredit themselves. For him to even tell this lie at this stage in the game when everybody knows this is a lie, this just further discredits this clown. It makes him look like a bigger clown.
Who said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally.
Yeah, he also said, I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists because they should be condemned totally. That's what he said, Obama. Everybody knows that, bro. Everybody knows that. You still trying to tell this lie? You still trying to tell this lie in 2024? This is desperation, people. Now, I'm not calling anything. I have no idea who's going to win this thing. I don't fully trust the process, quite frankly. So I'm not calling anything, but I know desperation when I see it. I know nervousness when I see it. I'm sorry. I know it. I can see that on this guy's face. This is not the face of joy. This is not the face of confidence. It's not. These lies that this guy's telling on the campaign trail. This is desperation. All right. So this is the same campaign event in Wisconsin. I want you to listen to this crap.
And by the way, she'll have an outstanding partner in Governor Tim Walz. I love that dude. He is a veteran. He's a teacher. He's a coach. He was a great governor.
Great governor. Veteran teacher and coach, and a great governor as well.
He is a veteran.
I think you may be leaving some things out of Coach's resume, buddy.
I love that dude. He is a veteran. He's a teacher. He's a coach. He was a great governor. Turns out he can even take a vintage truck apart and put it back together again. You think Donald Trump can do that? Do you think Donald Trump has ever changed a tire in his life? If he gets a flat tire, he calls his chauffeur, Jeeves. Jeeves, change that tire. I don't know if his chauffeur is actually named Jeeves, but I like to think.
Look at this guy. So what he's doing here, he's trying to make it seem like that Trump is disconnected from you, from common people. And that Tim Walz, coach, that he's just like you, that you can trust Kamala Harris because she got coach. Who's a teacher, he was a veteran, a successful governor. He's just like you, down to earth. He comes from the soil, just like you. Trump don't come from the soil. Trump's got a chauffeur named Jeeves. Jeeves is what Obama says. And Trump's never changed the tire. You think Trump's ever changed the tire? Jeeves changes his tire because Trump's rich and Trump is disconnected from you because he's wealthy and doing menial things like changing a tire. You would never see Trump. When's the last time you guys think Barack Hussein Obama changed the tire? When do you think this guy's done anything? When do you think last time this guy's picked up a pot or mowed some grass or done anything? This guy's rich. He's got a Jeeves. Why don't you listen to a little bit more of this?
He is a veteran. He's a teacher. He's a coach. He was a great governor. Turns out he can even take a vintage truck apart and put it back together again. You think Donald Trump can do that? Do you think Donald Trump has ever changed a tire in his life? If he gets a flat tire, he calls his chauffeur, Jeeves. Jeeves, change that tire. I don't know if his chauffeur is actually named Jeeves, but I like to think it's Jeeves. The point is, if you elect Kamala and Tim, they know something about your life because it's been their life. They'll be focused not on their problems, they'll be focused on yours.
Yeah, I thought I had the longer clip where he goes in like, who do you think drives Donald Trump around? Or if he says it here, the same people who drive you around, buddy. It's the Secret Service. If there's a flat tire in the car that you're riding in, no, it's not Jeeves driving the car. It's the Secret Service. That's who's driving Donald Trump's car. And if they get a flat tire, then the Secret Service is probably going to fix the flat tire, just like what would happen with you, Obama, because you're rich. You live on Martha's Vineyard. You went to Punahou Preparatory School and grew up in Hawaii. How are you, just because Donald Trump has more money than you, doesn't mean that you are more connected to the people and to the soil than him. And that you're out there changing tires and mowing grass and doing all this stuff. That's the biggest joke I ever heard. Do you think, let's look at some of these people. You think D.L. Hughley's changing tires? All these people that are endorsing Hillary Clinton, like D.L. Hughley's celebrities, you think he's changing tires? Doing stuff, like mowing grass? Or you think this guy's got a gardener at his house? Rich celebrities. These are all the people that are endorsing Kamala Harris. Not the people like Coach who you're trying to bring Tim Walsh out on us and try and get him to play the role of the everyday guy so you can identify with Tim Walsh. Those aren't the people that are coming out and endorsing Kamala Harris. It's people with chauffeurs and Jeeves and cooks and gardeners and the Hollywood elite like D.L. Hughley. You think Beyonce changes tires? Do you think Beyonce changes tires? Or is she like Trump? Does she have a Jeeves? And someone who drives her around, chauffeurs for her, cooks for her, cleans for her, mows her grass? Is she from, well, Obama's here trying to get you to believe that Donald Trump is not like you because he's wealthy and that he cannot care about the things that are important to you because he's wealthy. If I can't listen to Donald Trump because he's wealthy, the hell am I listening to you for? Why am I listening to Beyonce? Why do I care what she has to say if I can't listen to what Donald Trump has to say because he's wealthy? And then he can't identify with common people. This is a clip from 1988. A lot of people don't know this, but Donald Trump was a Republican. Donald Trump had really no hardcore political affiliation. He was a businessman. He had to do business with both sides. So he was congenial to both sides. Throughout, his adult life while he was building his business, he was congenial to Republicans, congenial to Democrats. He would give to both. There's even a check with his name on it where he donated to Kamala Harris in her campaign at one time. So he was a Republican loosely. And then when Bush came into power, understandable, and Bush started taking us to war and all that stuff, that's when he started to embrace the Democratic Party. Or no, he started to embrace the Democratic Party with Clinton. And then he became a Republican, ran for the Republican nomination in 2016. And this is in 1988 when George Bush is running, I guess against Walter Mondale that year. And this is at the Republican convention in New Orleans. Donald Trump is a guest of George H.W. Bush at the convention. And this is an interview that Donald Trump is doing with Larry King at the convention, 1988. Take a listen.
Hi. Let's give America maybe a different look at you. You're the author of a bestseller, and everyone knows you as the owner of buildings and hotels. But you might be classified as an Eastern Republican. Fair?
Well, I guess you could say that, yes.
Which means kind of a Rockefeller, Chase Manhattan Republican?
I never thought of it in those terms.
How do you define? Are you a Bush Republican?
No, I think I'm really, the people that I do best with are the people that drive the taxis. Wealthy people don't like me because I'm competing against them all the time, and they don't like me, and I like to win. The fact is, I go down the streets of New York, and the people that really like me are the taxi drivers and the workers, et cetera, et cetera. I really get a great response.
Why are you a Republican?
I have no idea. I am a Republican because I just believe in certain principles of the Republican Party. I was with George Bush today. I listened to George Bush. I listened to what he said, and I believe very strongly in what he said. I think he is going to be a great president.
He goes on to say in this interview, too, that he also liked Walter Mondale, and he thought Walter Mondale was great as well. This is what I'm saying. He didn't have like any firm connection to the Republican Party. And when Larry King asked him, are you a Rockefeller Republican? He says, no, I never classified myself as one of those Rockefeller Republicans like George H.W. Bush and his family and the Rockefeller Republicans that I've been telling you about. He says, no, the people that like me, the people that I get along with are the workers, the people that drive the taxis, common people, even though he's a wealthy builder in New York. Who do you think was building his buildings and that were putting on the hard hats and climbing the scaffolds? Workers. So he has always identified with workers. And to make the case that just because he's wealthy, that he doesn't identify with average everyday Americans, you'd have to make that case about Queen B, Beyonce. Why are we listening to her? I bet you Queen B got a Jeeves, Obama. What about Cardi B? Cardi B. These are some of the people that are endorsing Kamala Harris. Does Cardi B change tires? This is one of the most vile. Can you believe that this woman is endorsing, that Kamala Harris is not only accepting an endorsement from a woman like this, but also bringing her out and at a campaign event to campaign for her? This woman was a stripper. She admits to the fact that when she was a stripper that she would drug men and rob them. She is one vile. Her music is vile and disgusting. She talks vile and disgusting. And people are saying that Trump is vulgar and that Trump is vile. Look at this. This is what Kamala Harris has endorsing her. And not only endorsing her, she's bringing this vile person out on stage. You think she changes tires? You think she's got a Jeeves to drive her around? I mean, folks, I gotta warn you about the language. This person, but I mean, I wish I didn't have to talk about this, quite frankly. I don't want to be talking about Cardi B, but I have a podcast where I talk about politics. And the reason that I'm talking about Cardi B and I have to talk about Cardi B is because Kamala Harris made her politically relevant. Kamala Harris brought this vile person out on stage to campaign for her. But I gotta mind you, if there's kids, get the kids out, because this woman, first of all, she does not know how to speak English, and she definitely doesn't know how to speak English without using profanity. But I just want to show you a little bit of the type of person that Kamala Harris has campaigning for her, who Barack Obama, I guess, thinks that she's relatable to common people. She can relate to you. Trump can't relate to you because he's wealthy, but you can relate to this, is what Obama says.
Video so y'all can keep y'all pussy on WAP. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you bitches got that dry ass pussy because y'all pH balance is off. And you wanna know why? It's not because you born with it. It's because y'all keep fucking these dirty ass niggas. And y'all bitches is shy to tell these niggas that they dick is hot. You gotta tell babe, yo, your dick smell like mustard, my nigga. You gonna throw my pH balance off.
All right, enough of that. So this is the type of person. People are saying that, I don't want my children to look up to Donald Trump. I don't want my children to think that Donald Trump is a role model. You want your daughters to think this is a role model? You want your daughters to think that this is someone that they should be like? Because this is who Kamala Harris is bringing out on the stage at her campaign event. And it's really interesting, too, because people are passing out this video. This video was a video that Cardi B put out. Again, the language. She doesn't know how to speak without using profanity. But she put this video out, I guess, a few months ago when Joe Biden was still the nominee, and she was declaring that she wasn't going to endorse anyone. She came out and she endorsed Joe Biden in 2020, and this is her saying that I'm not going to endorse anyone this year, and then she ends up on stage endorsing. And there's a lot of speculation on why she changed her mind. We'll get into that in a minute, but take a listen to what she says.
Don't fucking ask me. I don't give a fuck the resume that they send. I don't give a fuck. I'm not endorsing no fucking presidents no more. Because we could fund 2 wars. Motherfuckers talking about we don't got it, but we got it. Like, we're the greatest nation. No, the fuck we're not. We're going through some shit right now. Like, say it. We really going through, we really are fucked right now. And yeah, we talking about we could fund 2 wars. That's like a nigga trying to front like.
Listen to what she's saying. Listen to what she's saying. So she's complaining about all the money that is being spent in Ukraine and Israel, that we're funding 2 wars and that we're going through some things right now, that the country is on the wrong path. Don't ask me to endorse anyone. I'm not going to endorse anyone. Here she is endorsing. So a lot of people were speculating, why are all these celebrities coming out and endorsing Kamala Harris? And it's like all of Hollywood. All of these celebrities are endorsing, and people are speculating that the reason that people like Cardi B are changing their mind about coming out and endorsing Kamala Harris is because of the Diddy tapes. The Diddy tapes, and there's all these memes like this one, celebs endorsing Kamala Harris, deep state, the Diddy tapes. That the Diddy tapes are being held over these people's head as leverage, and that you better get out there, even though you said you don't want to endorse, and that we're fighting 2 wars, and that we have money for wars, we don't have money to help people. I'm not endorsing anybody. You better get out there and endorse, because you got these Diddy tapes, is what people are speculating. And they're speculating that a lot of these celebrities are coming out and endorsing, not because they want to endorse. They're coming out and endorsing because it's in their best interest, if you know what I mean. Because of the Diddy tapes. LeBron James came out and endorsed this week. Or last week, he endorsed Kamala Harris with this video. LeBron James, the very first thing people did when LeBron James came out with that endorsement, started sharing this video of LeBron James doing a Zoom call with Diddy. And take a listen to what LeBron James says.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. And you about to just turn around and vibe. And Bron, me, when this is done, we gonna drink a couple of bottles of the most premium wine.
Please.
So is this relatable? Because Donald Trump is not relatable according to Barack Obama, because he's wealthy. Because he's built a successful business. He's made very smart real estate moves, and he's wealthy now. He doesn't change his tire. He's got a Jeeves. Like, do you think LeBron changes tires? Do y'all think LeBron changes tires? Tell me that. When's the last time you guys think LeBron changes tires? Or does LeBron have a Jeeves? Does LeBron have a gardener and a cook and someone to make his bed when he wakes up in the morning and someone to clean his bathroom? Does LeBron have a Jeeves? Or is LeBron changing tires? So LeBron came out and everybody started passing this video around because you can relate to LeBron. You can't relate to Trump. Can't relate to Trump. Trump don't know nothing about working people, common people, but LeBron does. And LeBron also knows about the Diddy parties. LeBron also happens to know about the Diddy parties.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party. That's what's up.
And you about to just turn around.
That's what's up.
And Bron, me, when this is done, we gonna drink a couple of bottles of the most premium wine.
Most premium. Yes, the most premium, because you can relate to Kamala Harris because of Tim Walz. But we're going to drink the most premium wine with LeBron at the Diddy party. But But Kamala Harris, you can trust Kamala Harris has your best interests in mind because of Tim Walz. That's the narrative. That's what they're trying to push on us. So if you don't know who Diddy is, for those of you who don't know who Diddy is, Sean Puffy Combs. Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs. He was a music producer, got into other business ventures, but he likes to throw parties, wild parties, sex parties. And this guy, Diddy, is in jail right now. The Justice Department has a very, very tight case on Diddy for these sex parties that he would have with other celebrities. This is a lawyer out of Texas, and this lawyer out of Texas represents 120 clients, or this is 120 sexual assault allegations. I think he's got over 100 different clients that he's representing. I know he's got a lot of clients, and there's a lot of cases that he says he's going to be bringing. These are civil cases on Diddy, but not only Diddy, other celebrities, a lot of other celebs that were there is what this lawyer says that he's going to be bringing civil suits on. And he also says that he's got enough information that if the DOJ wants to make cases on any of these other celebrities, he's got the information. Here, I just want you to listen to a little bit of what this guy says.
Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names.
There's a lot of names.
Long list already.
A lot of names, long list.
I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are.
They already know who they are.
I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about
they were at the party. The people that were just at the party and watched. You didn't even have to participate, but you were there. You watched what went on at the Diddy party. You're complicit too. If you watch what went on. LeBron, where LeBron at? LeBron, ain't no party like a Diddy party. Did you watch, LeBron, or did you participate?
Yeah, that's what's up.
That's what's up. Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up.
They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave. And then threatened as they were leaving.
So this is part of his civil case is what you got to understand. And if this guy's making this kind of claims for a civil case, bro, you got to understand what the DOJ has. The DOJ's got all of this, and in this speech, or in this press conference, he says that everything that he has is available to the DOJ. If the DOJ needs any of the evidence that he has, so we're talking about a huge scandal that is not only Diddy, it's also those who were at the Diddy parties. those who watched, those who participated. So that's why a lot of people are speculating that all of these, that all these celebrities are coming out, even though some of them, like Cardi B, said that they weren't feeling it. They didn't know if they wanted to endorse this year. Yeah, you're feeling it. You better be feeling it. You better be feeling it. So people started coming out calling these guys Diddycrats. The Diddycrat celebrities are out endorsing Kamala Harris. I just thought that was hilarious. The Diddycrat celebrities, because there's a lot of them. A lot of them. Usher. Lizzo. You think Usher changes tires? Does Usher change tires? Can he relate? Lizzo? She changing tires? Lizzo? Is Lizzo cooking her own meals, or does she have a dietitian? Losing a lot of weight. I don't know if it's only the Ozempic, but she definitely losing a lot of weight. Oprah at the Diddy parties. Oprah at the Diddy parties. Is Oprah changing tires? Is what I want to know, Obama. Because Obama says that Trump can't relate because he's got Jeeves. Jeeves. You think Trump can do that? He got Jeeves to change his tires. He's not like you. He's rich. Oh, really? Is Oprah like you? Does Oprah have a Jeeves? Is Oprah changing tires? So I can't listen to Trump. I can't believe Trump because he's rich and wealthy and has a Jeeves. So I'm supposed to listen to Oprah? And she was at the Diddy parties? Oprah knows, man. She interviewed Donald Trump back in the day when she used to have her show on NBC. This was back in the 90s. And I think at this point, Trump had become a Democrat or loosely connected with the Democratic Party. But he was a liberal. He wasn't a politician, so he was a no threat to anyone. So back then in the late 1990s, no one cared about the Central Park Five, or nobody cared about the fact that he didn't rent to black people in New York when he was a slumlord. Nobody cared about any of those scandals that they bring up now that Donald Trump is a Republican and decided to run for president as a Republican. They all loved him back then. And he was on the Oprah Winfrey Show. I want you to listen to some of this interview that he did on the Oprah Winfrey Show back in the 90s.
Last year, criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily, I'd make our allies pay their fair share.
Make our allies pay their fair share. This is in the 1990s. This is the same rhetoric that he's got right now towards NATO, talking about NATO and all these other countries mooching off us and not paying into NATO. Same rhetoric.
Forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily. I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything.
It's China now. Back then, it was Japan. Back in the 90s, it was Japan, but now it's China. Same rhetoric. It's just a different country. Same focus on protectionism. Same focus on the people and making sure that the American workers are prosperous. But you can't relate to him, is what Obama says.
Happen over the next number of years with this country. You can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars.
Look at everyone's face, man. Look at this. Look at the way people are hanging on every word.
Make it impossible. They come over here,
they know
sell
it's
their
true.
Cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And, hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil.
What's he talking about there? Kuwait? Because we went to war. for them. I'm not sure when this interview was, but this must have been after the Gulf War. We went to war to protect Kuwait from Saddam Hussein. He's saying that cost us. It cost us to send our army over there to protect Kuwait. Kuwait's got all this oil money. How about you pay up? This was his rhetoric back then. It's still his rhetoric today.
Like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it.
Well, it's crazy that Oprah back in the 1990s thought that Donald Trump could be president and that he was smart enough to be president. And she didn't think that he was unrelatable, Barack Obama, back in the 1990s. And that's the thing. That's the thing about all these Diddycrats, you know? People have been posting all these pictures of Donald Trump with Diddy, with Sean Puffy Combs, and saying, oh, you can't say, that, all these celebrities are hanging out with Diddy and they're Diddycrats. You'd have to say the same thing about Trump. Because Trump's seen in multiple pictures with Sean Puffy Combs. And I tweeted this out. First of all, I thought Trump was a racist. That's the first thing that I have to say about this. Very first thing that I have to say about this is that y'all told me that Trump was a racist. Why do you have so many pictures of this racist hanging it out, kicking it with black dudes? With Sean Puffy Combs, if he's such a racist. So you telling me Sean Puffy Combs was kicking it with the racist? No, it's ridiculous. Donald Trump's not racist. Donald Trump's never been racist. He was a Diddycrat. This is the rest of what I say. He was a Diddycrat just like the rest of y'all. It's true. Trump used to be a Diddycrat. And when he was a Diddycrat, y'all all loved him. Oprah loved him. Oprah loved him when he was a Diddycrat. The girls on The View loved him when he was a Diddycrat. When he was with you guys all loved him. Everybody loved him. When he was one of you. And he used to be one of you. But the reason you all hate him today is because he's no longer one of you. He's no longer one of you. And that's why you guys hate him. It's not because he's unrelatable, because he's rich. He was rich back in the 1990s. This is what Donald Trump owned a building in downtown Manhattan where he gave office space to Jesse Jackson for his Rainbow Push Coalition in the 1990s, I think. This is what Jesse Jackson says when they opened that building about Donald Trump. Donald Trump was wealthy back then, but he seemed to be relatable enough to give you free office space in his building, Jesse Jackson. I mean, he was relatable enough back then, still wealthy, still a rich, real estate mogul, but he was relatable enough to give you office space for your Rainbow Push Coalition in his building back then. Was he relatable back then?
I now want to bring forth a friend who has, he is deceptive in that his social style is of such. One can miss his seriousness and his commitment for their success is beyond argument. When we opened this Wall Street project and we talked about it, he gave us space at 40 Wall Street, which was to make a statement about our having a presence there. And beyond that, in terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too.
Reaching out and being inclusive is what you said about him, Jesse Jackson. Interesting.
A presence there. And beyond that, in terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too. and created for many people a comfort zone when I ran for the presidency in 84 and 88.
So the racists created a comfort zone for you to run for president in 1988. Now, the interesting thing about this, Jesse Jackson saying this, is because Jesse Jackson ran for the Democratic nomination in 1988, the same year that Donald Trump was at the convention with George Bush that year in 1988, where Larry King is asking him if he's a Republican, Rockefeller Republican. He says, no, not a Rockefeller Republican. The people that I get along with, the people that like me, the people that I relate to are workers, taxi drivers, the people who build my buildings, is what he says. But he's there at the Republican convention there. And I told you, if you watch the rest of this interview, he even goes into how Quayle is good. He's not, he's loosely connected to these political parties. It's not that big of a deal to him. It doesn't become that big of a deal until it becomes a big deal. But this is in 1988. And then Jesse Jackson ran in 1988 against Joe Biden. He was running for that nomination. Joe Biden was also running for the nomination, but they were all in that same primary. And he says here that Donald Trump gave him space in his building, and giving him space in his building legitimized his candidacy. Listen to this.
And beyond that, in terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too. And created for many people a comfort zone when I ran for the presidency in 84 and 88. And many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid. He came to our
people were laughing. People were laughing at Jesse Jackson, laughing at you, not Donald Trump. Donald Trump didn't laugh at Jesse Jackson. He didn't laugh at him. He gave him office space, came to his meetings, tried to legitimize him. And he's at the Republican convention that year. He's doing this for Jesse Jackson, who's running as a Democrat, and he's hanging out at the Republican convention that year. Just wow.
And many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid. He came to our business meeting here in New York because he has this sense of the curious and a will to risk to make things better. And so aside from all of his style and his pizzazz, he's a serious person who's an effective builder of building for the builder of people. Last year, he was a part of our workshop, of our panel workshop on what are the challenges and opportunities. And so a year later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
Wow. And now you have this clown saying that you can't relate to Donald Trump, that he lives in a different universe than you because he's got a chauffeur, that he's probably never changed the tire. And at the same time, has Samuel L. Jackson ever changed the tire? Does Samuel L. Jackson have a Jeeves? A Jeeves is what Obama says. Does Samuel L. Jackson have a Jeeves? I want to know. I want to know if what's this clown's name? The Pfizer guy? John Legend. Does John Legend have a chauffeur? John Legend change tires? John Legend can relate to me better. What about Bruce Springsteen? Bruce, the boss. The boss changing tires? He's campaigning for Kamala Harris. Is he changing tires is what I want to know. Does he have a Jeeves? Is he mowing grass? I want to know that. I want to know. Because you can relate to the boss. He's from Jersey. You can relate to the boss. Not Trump, though. Not Trump. What about J-Lo? J-Lo. Jenny from the block. What about J-Lo? Is she changing tires? I want to know if J-Lo's changing tires, Obama. I want to know if she can relate to working people. She used to. She used to before Selena died or was killed. Can you imagine that if Selena would have never been killed, you wouldn't even know who this woman was? She'd be Jenny going to her 9-to-5 job. But now she's Jenny from the block. And Jenny, I'm telling you, Jenny from the block don't change tires. Jenny from the block has a Jeeves as well, probably multiple Jeeves. But she was also Diddy's main squeeze for a long time. She been to the Diddy parties. She been to the Diddy party. See, that's the interesting thing about people saying that showing pictures with Donald Trump and Sean Puffy Combs and saying, you can't, just show pictures with all these people with Puff Daddy and implicate them into being at the Diddy parties. Well, for one, some of these people brag about being at the Diddy parties, like LeBron James. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. He brags about it, so I'm not speculating. He was at the Diddy parties.
No party like a Diddy party, so.
He was at the Diddy parties. I got Oprah pictured here at the Diddy parties. She at the Diddy parties. I mean, yeah, you got pictures with Donald Trump and Diddy, but Donald Trump doesn't seem to be worried about the Diddy tapes. Not like all these people. All these people who are endorsing, all these people are endorsing Kamala Harris. All of them. They've all been at the Diddy parties. They all seem to be worried, I'll tell you that. They all seem to be a lot more worried than Donald Trump, especially J-Lo. J-Lo. She was at a autograph signing the other day. All these people have endorsed Kamala Harris too. Headline: Jennifer Lopez seemingly stops autograph signing over Diddy question at an Unstoppable event. So she's at an autograph signing at this event, and somebody asked her about the Diddy tapes and what she knows about Diddy, and she stops the autograph signing and supposedly stormed out in a rage. Ask Trump about the Diddy tapes. See if he storms out in a rage. Trump don't seem to be worried about the Diddy tapes, but a lot of people seem to be worried about the Diddy tapes. The Diddy tapes, people. Lady Gaga endorsing Kamala Harris. Did she change tires? She got a Jeeves? Richard Gere endorsing Kamala Harris. Richard Gere, do you change tires? Do you have a Jeeves? Have you been to the Diddy parties? Let's listen to Richard Gere here.
Hi, Pennsylvania. I'm Richard Gere. I was born in Philadelphia. My mom and dad were born and raised in Brooklyn, Pennsylvania, in northeastern Pennsylvania, Susquehanna County.
So I guess he can relate. He can relate. I was born there.
I think I want you to know you can still make a big difference here.
Listen to the manipulative music, the piano music. You can make a big difference here to vote for all the people that went to the Diddy parties. Richard Gere, changing tires. Harrison Ford, you changing tires? Do you have a Jeeves? Harrison Ford, am I supposed to relate to you, Harrison Ford, because you were in Star Wars? I can relate to you a lot better than I can relate to Donald Trump because Donald Trump's rich. You're not rich, are you? Are you rich? Yeah, I bet you are rich. When's the last time you changed a tire, Harrison Ford? I want to know that.
Look, I've been voting for 64 years.
64 years.
Never really wanted to talk about it very much. But when dozens of former members of the Trump administration are sounding alarms, saying, for God's sake, don't do this again.
Hey,
you have to pay attention.
This is a role, dude. This is a role. This is nothing. He's saying lines here. These are lines. This guy makes his living giving lines. Look at the dramatic lighting. The microphone, the way that his voice is That's all effects. This is a show. This is a show. This is all her campaign is. You can trust this guy.
This again.
Don't do this again. Don't do this again.
For God's sake, don't do this again.
For God's sake, don't do this again. Harrison Ford, have you been to Diddy parties? Have you been to Diddy parties, Harrison Ford? Come on. Don't tell me that you've been to the Diddy parties. Who's this? Meg the Stallion. Meg the Stallion, you change tires? You got a Jeeves? Kamala Harris, she seems to be doing okay herself, too. The interesting thing is that the reason that she made up that lie that she used to work for McDonald's when she was in college is so she can try to pretend to be relatable. That's why Barack Obama is telling this story and talking about Jeeves and saying that Donald Trump is not relatable because he wants you. He starts off talking about Tim Walz first and saying that you can trust Kamala Harris because Tim Walz, Midwesterner just like you, vet, governor, congressman, he hunts, guy just like you. Coach Walz, he just like you. He from the soil. So you can trust them. You can trust Kamala Harris because they come from where you come from, is what Obama is saying. And that's why Kamala Harris made up the lie about working at McDonald's. And there's no evidence. And it's funny because she was putting all this, her working at McDonald's and all of these ads when she first became the nominee. And then when people started asking questions, what's the location? What's the city? When did you work at this McDonald's? She stopped. They wouldn't answer the question, and then they stopped putting it in the ad. But that's why she made up that lie. That's why she says over and over again, I come from middle class because I'm just like you. I come from the soil just like you. I'm just like you. I can relate to you. But there's no evidence of that Kamala Harris is middle class. There's no evidence that she worked for McDonald's. Her and her husband are worth millions of dollars. Her husband is an entertainment lawyer. Her husband is a lawyer for all these guys. Multimillionaire. Her mother is top caste in India. India still has a caste system. The top caste are Brahmin Indians. Her family are Brahmin Indians. Top caste. Both of her parents were college professors. It's looking like she descends from slave owners. White slave owners in Jamaica. I mean, there's so much into that. I don't even want to get into that. She wants you to believe that she's just like you, that she relates to you. Donald Trump doesn't relate to you. And it's because of Coach. It's because of Coach is what they want you to believe. All right, folks, that's it. I just wanted to have a little fun today. Who knows what's going to happen this week? But again, I reiterate, God is in control. Doesn't matter what happens this week, God's still going to be in control. And if Donald Trump doesn't win, we keep fighting for America. We don't stop the fight. But I feel good about it, and I'll see you guys on Friday. Hopefully we are in a good mood on Friday. Enjoy the week. Just relax. I'll see you guys soon.